Welcome back to Enamored Risks. We're in the middle of stuff. That's real descriptive of me, good job. Anyway. But I'm happy I'm here now. Thanks for letting me in. I just wanted my first aid kit back. Her lips twitch, just barely, but a warmth blooms in my chest all the same. It relieves me to find she hasn't lost her sense of humor, even through all of this. Well, here it is. I set it down on her coffee table. But the mood then shifts to something awkward and stifling now that neither of us no longer have an excuse to dance around with. Without anything else to do, she gestures for me to take a seat as she does the same. I do so. So, what happened doesn't quite sound right. We both know what happened. Why is a loaded question, and I'm not sure if I can keep my tone neutral if I asked it. If she didn't want to kick me out before, she would then. That only leaves... What's wrong? At the end of the day, that's all I want to know. Is she alright? We might move past this day as only friends, but even if even that. But I'd rather do so knowing what's been bothering her. Zane seems a little surprised. There's a moment where she starts to reply, only to abruptly stop, as though she prepared for me to say something other than what I did. The silence stretches for an unbearably long amount, but I steel myself to be patient. Zane is probably just unused to talking about her feelings. After all, look at the company she keeps. Finally, I hear a sharp intake of breath and follow it across the room to find Zaina, looking the most unsure I've ever seen her. This stays between us, okay? For now, at least. I promise. I mime the motion of zipping my lips, and this seems to give her the confidence she needs. She takes another deep breath. I was jealous. Of you. My eyebrows shoot up in surprise, though I bite my lip to keep myself from saying something. Zaina? Jealous of me? What could she possibly be jealous about? Zaina is Zaina. Cool, awesome, beautiful. There's very little that Zaina doesn't have in spades. For her to be jealous... I've known Finn and Pax for a while, but when Finn brought you along, I thought I was ready to welcome somebody new into the group. And I really was. You were cute, fun to tease. My cheeks warm, both at the sincerity behind her word and the soft smile that crosses her lips. Her smile, perhaps because of its rarity, is stunning. The more time I spent with you, the more time I didn't mind the thought of my life being uprooted by some newbie. As long as it was my life. That was an interesting distinction. But you've wormed your way in, didn't you? Pin and Pax and Finn like you too, and you've become a part of their lives as well. I should be happy, right? I like you, my friends like you, that's all fine. Until they decide they like you better than me. Zaina speaks slowly now, forcing each word out through gritted teeth as though it physically pains her to say. And why shouldn't they? I'm not the most agreeable person to be around. I open my mouth, ready to protest. Don't deny it. That's true. I have a bad habit of always saying what I mean, and a lot of the times it hurts people's feelings. Sure, there's a speck of truth to that, but she's truly not as terrible as she's making herself seem. It isn't like she's out purposefully putting people down. I'm the worst to Finn. I like to pretend we're close, but I make him feel awful, on top of him already feeling awful. That's no wonder he prefers you. She must mean that other night when he asked me to tend his wounds after Zaina offered to do it herself. The boys were asking you to do things I normally do, and I just... This time I can't just keep quiet. You felt like I was replacing you. Zaina's silence is answer enough. Suddenly, her moody behavior from a couple days ago makes so much more sense now. She's known Finn and Paxton longer than I have, and even though she liked me, she also felt threatened by me joining the group. That's not without reason either. I was encroaching on all her roles. To her, it just seemed like I was stealing her friends away. Okay. This one is probably the best choice depending on how I say it. This one, though. Because this one sounds like I don't know. This one, she doesn't seem like a touchy person, especially when it comes to feelings, so I don't think this is the right choice at all. This one feels a little bit safer, but also like kind of a cop-out answer. This one feels the best unless unless Alex really takes it in a very specific direction that is not the one I want, but I don't. But gotta be risky. The thought of me replacing Xena in any universe is laughable, but this is clearly no laughing matter. Even if I wanted to replace you, I couldn't. But you thought about it. Never. And yet, maybe what Xena needs is a laugh. For one thing, I can't fill out your pants as well as you do, and two, I'd crash your motorcycle the moment I tried to drive it. Would you dare subject the public to such a menace on the streets? Could you live with yourself if you let people see me try to pull off drop crotch pants? I don't know. Seeing you make a fool of yourself might be worth the risk. If I die, at least I'll die happy. Well, I know I could certainly die happy just from hearing that laugh of hers. I'm not sure exactly how much time passes, but I end up in the same beanbag chair as Xena, sitting comfortably in her lap. Her fingers comb through my hair in gentle strokes, and all I know is that I never want to leave. Stay with me. I hum in the affirmative. Honestly, I was going to stay here, even if you didn't ask. She removes the hand in my hair and uses the same one to pinch my nose. Moocher. Following my makeup with Xena, she reconnects with the boys and we resume our expeditions. Finn complains that we're turning the sites into date spots, while Paxton is ever so supportive. Secretly, though, I believe Finn is the happiest out of all of us that Xena's back. I bring this up to Xena one day, but she dismisses the thought and figures he just missed having someone to look after him. I say nothing of the fact that he very easily could have gotten that through Paxton. Although things pretty much have gone back to normal, it seems Xena's insecurities still fester. I wonder every day what I could do to possibly get her to see that the boys do value her. But that is the furthest thing from my mind right now when she's holding my hand. Xena leads me through the sanatorium with the ease of a seasoned veteran, confident and sure of herself. But she holds my hand as if it were a lifeline. She lets go only to take pictures, and before I can even blink, her palm is already sliding back into mine. It's when we're apart for longer than just a moment that my eyes wander, and when I finally look back, I find myself immediately enraptured by Xena in her element. I allow myself to just take her in. She's still got that scowl of hers, even when she's taking pictures of something just over my shoulder, like the wall isn't cooperating with her. It only makes the pleased set of her mouth later when she gets her shot that much more captivating. I may not have Xena's eye, but even I can appreciate beauty. You got it? Yup. Can I see? She angles the camera away from me and purposely lines up another shot. Nope. However, something must not have been to her liking because Xena lowers the camera almost immediately. Can you hold the flashlight up a little higher? The light is a bit... I position the flashlight under my chin and do my best evil smile. I model it after Paxton's, the exact one he makes when he's planning a difficult boss encounter for his campaigns. Like this? Click. The sound of the camera shutter going off is almost swallowed by Xena's laugh. Okay, so that backfired. For a moment, even with her in front of me, I've forgotten she had a camera on her. But getting Xena to laugh was worth it. I definitely don't have to feign embarrassment, though I exaggerate for Xena's amusement anyway. Hey, you weren't supposed to take a picture of that. Really? And what law says I can't do that? The don't make fun of Alex law! I think I'm well past breaking that law, don't you think? Oh, believe me, I know. We share a smile from across the room and I lower the flashlight from my face. Is this good? A bit higher still. Yeah, that's better. I'm careful to stay still, lest I ruin the lighting, and in the quiet, my eyes are drawn to Xena once again. I've always been curious. How'd you get into photography? If Xena hears my question, she gives no indication. She resumes her work behind the camera, and the shutters fill the silence. I consider repeating myself when at last she lowers her camera. I got into trouble a lot when I was younger. Really? I never would have guessed. Even with the camera blocking half her face, it's hard to miss her smirk. It's clear she takes no offense at all from my sarcasm, like she's proud of having such a reputation. Yeah, well, my parents thought that if I had a hobby, I wouldn't have the time or energy to stir up stuff. She lifts her camera again, and I assume that's the entirety of her answer, but she continues. They signed me up for a bunch of lessons for all kinds of stuff, but I'd never get past the second day. Buying me a bunch of disposables were probably like their 20th attempt? Something like that. And you liked it straight away? She barks out a laugh so hard she's forced to put down her camera. Heck no. I thought it was stupid. I wasted so much film just taking pictures of me flipping the camera off. That definitely sounded like something Zaina would do, past or present. But my parents printed them all out anyway, and let me put them up on my walls. That was probably how it started. So, she liked having something she made up on display. She takes a few more pictures before I catch her looking at me over the lens. Perhaps sensing I still had more to ask her, Zaina lowers her camera and gestures for me to come over. I join her side and she angled the camera away from me for a moment, flipping through the pictures she's taken. When it appears as though she finds ones she likes, she angles the screen back into my view, only to flip through more of them, though I feel it's for my benefit this time. Unlike before, she goes through them slowly, pausing just long enough for me to take in each picture. This set of pictures seem to be the same thing, a row of abandoned beds we found earlier. I don't really have much of a technique. I like to feel things out as they come. But one thing I always do is take a bunch. True to her words, there's at least 15 pictures of just the beds. Chances are you won't get your shot on the first try, or even the second or third one. I'll change the angle on some of them, or shoot from the ground, play with the lighting a little. You don't always know what works at the start, and sometimes going with the flow does the job. Zaina stops at the picture she must deem the best. I honestly can't tell the difference. Most of them look the same to my amateur eyes. Look at this one. Because I open the aperture up and increase the ISO, I get a shallower depth of field. There's more focus on the shadows here. Aperture? ISO? Depth of field? These terms means absolutely nothing to me. I know what aperture means. It's a science. No, okay. I know what aperture means for real, but it's also the science. The science. Aperture science from Portal. Okay, sorry. I couldn't quite get the joke to work out of my mouth. Anyway. I'm just messing with you. That was all nonsense. I have no idea what I actually said. I just picked a random photo too. My cheeks puff up, and before I know it, and Zaina takes great pleasure in poking one to release the air that's gathered. When she's done, she pinches my nose. Sorry, I was starting to feel like some pretentious professor and just leaned into it. The part about taking a lot of shots was real though. Anyway, I'm done here. Zaina loops the camera strap from under her head and hands me her camera. I take it, and my lips part to say something, anything, but I'm stunned into silence. You once asked me if I could teach you how to take photos, remember? I do. I never actually expected her to take me up on it, though. Well, that was it. There's not much to it, really. But hey, if you're good, I'll even let you use my tripod. There's a teasing lilt to her voice I'm definitely not a stranger to, but even that doesn't distract me from the weight of the camera in my hands. It's heavier than I expected, and still warm from when Zaina was holding it. I trace the buttons with a finger, utterly mystified. Finally it sinks in, and there's nothing I can do to stop the joy that blooms in my chest. It spreads, to my toes, my fingers, and finally to my mouth, where it splits to the widest it's ever been. The strain on my cheeks would probably hurt if I didn't feel so warm all over. Zaina actually trusts me with her camera. I've never seen her allow Finn and Paxton to touch it. She always batted their hands away when they, mostly Finn, tried or dissuaded them with her most intense glare. I see none of that here. Only faith. Though Zaina, when I chance a look at her, looks dazed, like something heavy struck her in the chest. After a few moments like that, she recovers, a wistful smile crossing her lips. That's no fair, making a face like that when I no longer have the camera. She moves as if to take the camera from me, but seems to think better of it, patting it from where I hold it in my hands, and then crossing the room for the door. Okay, I got it now. Come on, Let's get something new for your debut. I follow her into the next room, cheeks warm. The floor has seen better days than this one, but I follow Zaina's example and mostly stick to the corners. Zaina sees my conundrum right away. She walks me through the zoom feature since I'm unable to get any closer, and my first picture is of a rusting wheelchair just across the room. She peeks over my shoulder while I check the photo. Not bad for a newbie. Zaina nudges me with an elbow, and the corners of my lips tug into a bashful smile. I am reminded of her nickname for me when I was just starting out with the group. She still calls me that occasionally when she wants to tease me, and I can't deny I've gone from disliking it to honestly being a little attached to it. With it comes memories of our time together. Like I said, don't be afraid to take more pictures. And you might want to try shooting low for one of them. The light will hit it differently. I lift the camera and try again. Honestly, I still don't quite know what I'm doing, but Zaina's guidance is easy to follow. I come away with pictures I wouldn't exactly mind posting on my Instagram. And yet, though the pictures are nice, it's sharing this with Zaina that I can't get enough of. When I start to get the hang of it, I continue to ask questions anyway, just to see that passion flicker in her eyes when she explains it to me. I'm going to end this episode. Bye-bye!